Doug Boudreaux is the owner of Hope Pharmacy, this part of the state's Northwest Louisiana's only state-approved medical marijuana facility. There's one problem. There's no product. So, Mr. Doug, A, welcome back to Kiel. B, in the scheme of being able to stock your shelves, so to speak, where are we? What's the story?
Well, I'm thinking I'm finding out just as everybody else is, in the public. At one point it was going to be May 15th, which is what I demanded as president of the association, the first marijuana association in the state. And then it was May 30th, and now it looks like it might be mid-June.
Wait, pardon me. See, the last date I have, the one I have in my notes for this morning, is May 15th. So that was already pushed back to the 30th, and now you're looking at maybe, honestly,
Mid-June.
A, why the continuing delays in your opinion? B, do you believe June 15th either?
I'm very, very hopeful for June 15th.
Do you believe June 15th?
Oh, it's just so hard to believe anything anymore.
Why?
Right? My opinion is the same. Either the commissioner doesn't have the ability to do what he's supposed to do, or he doesn't want to. I just can't. I've never in my life seen anything like this.
Well, because you've been waiting, like a couple of years now, right?
Correct. Well, the product was supposed to be available January 31st.
Well, last time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the last time, January 31st. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. So the last time we had a stakeholders meeting in Baton Rouge, as the president of the association, I demanded a release date of May 15th.
Doug, look, I'm not trying to. I don't want you to do anything to say anything that makes you uncomfortable or might put you in a bad spot. But when you say, I don't know what the problem is, do you really not know?
I really don't know. I mean, you think about it from, I'm in the same position as you are, and I'm in a much better position than my patients are. But think of it from the perspective of the patient. They're sitting there suffering, and they say, okay, we're going to have something January 31st. And then, of course, they're going to try and find out what's going on more than we are. But they're the ones that that are suffering here. I can't figure it out. I've never seen anything
Let me try this, because Matt and I will sit here when there's a news story about the status of the availability of medical marijuana in Louisiana, or the lack of availability. When there's a news story, i.e. something related to the new delay, and since this is a radio show that is based on the opinion of its hosts, I'm going to make a statement here, and you can comment on it, or you can let it go, and you can just go off in another direction. You can say whatever you want to say. But I'll say this, and I've said this to Matt off the air. I've said it on the air. As long as Mike Strain is the Commissioner of Agriculture in Louisiana, I don't think there's ever going to be medical marijuana. Do you agree or disagree? Do you want to comment on that?
I disagree with that. I seriously disagree with that. There are too many forces in play that wouldn't allow that to happen.
Let me rephrase that.
I really believe that we are going to get product. He can't. One person, one person, although he may try, cannot.
Does it
hold the whole process?
Does it seem to you that every step of the way to this point, when a roadblock has been thrown up, that it's Mr. Strain who's put the roadblock in the road?
It seems to be that.
Then why do you think that?
Absolutely.
Why do you think that is? Why, if you had to speculate, what is his?
I can't speculate. I can't get in the man's head. All I can tell you is what I've told you before. I mean, and it's true. It's what I sincerely believe. Either they just don't have the capability, or they just don't want to do it. I mean, it's one or the other. But all the emergency rules, I think, that they've enacted, they several of them got thrown out in the legislature yesterday.
I think it was you who said one of the times you've been on, and you made the point that, well, I'll just tell you the story that I saw, that one of the delays that Mr. Strange said, well, we found pesticides in the test sample of the medical marijuana of what the state is growing, wherever they're growing at LSU, I guess. And you had made the point, well, wait a second, it's being grown indoors. There are no pesticides. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, you have a good memory, but what I said was they're testing for pesticides when it's being grown inside and they're not using pesticides.
But did I misunderstand the story? Correct me if I'm wrong. That he said one of the delays was due to finding pesticides in the sample.
Yeah, the delay is that the state took over the testing, which they shouldn't have done. The law says that it's supposed to be an independent tester, and the state is not independent. So they just took over all the testing, and in doing so, it's taking them a lot longer to find and test the product.
There is a move afoot to take control of the medical marijuana in Louisiana, to transfer it from the Agriculture Commissioner to the Department of Health.
I saw that.
Good idea?
I saw that. I think so.
Why?
I think so. Well, because I've dealt with the Department of Health for years, and I find be very reasonable, and we work very, very well together. As a matter of fact, when there's an emergency rule, when they have an emergency rule, it's because there's imminent peril to the patient's health, not just by some whim, And then, but they can make the emergency rule, but they've got to have a public hearing within 120 days or 90 days of making that rule. The Commissioner of Agriculture doesn't know that. They just make up these emergency rules. They have no hearings. They have no anything. So I'd be excited to see that. I don't know who introduced that or which, senator or representative did that, but, I think that'd be good.
On the frustration level from 1 to 10, where are you?
I'm a 20. I'm a 30.
Are you anywhere near just saying, just screw this, the hell with it, and giving up?
Well, let me tell you what's keeping me going. My first patient. I got this patient. I know who it is. I'm very, I tear up a lot. Think about it. I know the effects of this, medication and how it's going to affect them, and I just can't wait to help those patients. So I'm here for the long haul. Financially, it's been a horrible thing, but really for the patients, think about it. If you were sick and you were promised something in January, I don't even want to say it, that people had passed away, We've had death, from hospice and seizures and so forth, but these people, they're suffering because of politics.
June 15th. June 15th is the next prospective date. In your mind, give me an over and under. When will these patients to whom you refer, when will medical marijuana be available at Hope Pharmacy and across the state of Louisiana?
I don't want to give them any hope, man. I don't want to give them any more false hope. We're assured by LSU Ag that they'll have something to release by May 30th, and we'll have stuff by June 15th.